Hi everybody, welcome back. Today I will be sharing with you my current favorites. I miss doing my September favorites because I was traveling and I didn't really use a lot of things during the month of September except for my traveling time because if you watch my Q&A, which I'll link up here, I was literally like the first 2.5 weeks of the month I was just working, and when I'm working and I'm stressed, I actually don't use a lot of stuff. I was just beyond bothered. Makeup was minimal. I sometimes, or most times, even forget to use any of my skincare, and my handbag was just anything that I could grab because, yeah, stress, stress. But then, when it came to the holiday, I actually brought certain things that I really wanted to try and see that, whether that would be a love for the month, and I really enjoyed some of the stuff, so I will be sharing with that with you. And then when I came back, like right now, I have continued to use some of the new things. Yeah, so let's get to my current favorites. If you are new to my channel, my name is Kat. Normally do luxury review videos, so I hope you guys are subscribed. If you like luxury videos, please subscribe. Please give it a thumbs up if you like this video. So let's get to my current favorites. A big part of September and October is my family trip to the UK, and I haven't started editing the vlogs. Hopefully maybe when this video goes up I have started, but I've got quite a lot of footage, so hopefully I'll get that up soon. But yeah, skincare was a big part of that trip because it was cold, like especially in Scotland. I think the weather dropped. There was a couple of days that it dropped down to 5 Celsius, and that for me, like I live in a tropical hot climate, every day is like 29, 32 and that kind of thing, and then when it suddenly dipped to like 5 single digit, it was cold. So my skin kind of taken a toll. I still have some blemishes from, the skin is just reacting to the weather. 2 items really helped my skin throughout the trip. It is the Black Rose Precious Face Oil from Sisley, and then I also had this kind of like a tiny little sample, La Mer's Moisturising Soft Cream. So I have mentioned this several times on my video, and this is actually just about finished. So I've got another one brand new which I will be opening within the week. It is great. This is expensive stuff. I love it even in this weather, but for this weather I don't usually use it in the daytime, but for this I could use it in the daytime. Just a little bit, like maybe 2 or 3 drops, add it with my moisturizer, and it just hydrates my skin, especially when the wind was blowing so strong while we were up in the Highlands in Scotland. It was like and I tell you, my skin just could not take it. So this really protected my skin, and I love it. I think if you're living in a country that has 4 seasons, that kind of harsh changes in weather, I can imagine why the skin needs different kinds of treatment depending on the season. Like here, in Malaysia and in Singapore, it's pretty constant. We have rainy weather, but it never dips below 20. It's always around the mid to like really hot. So, and yeah, so we don't really need like super hydrating items like that. It's great for a treatment. I like to use it at night, but oh my gosh, I really needed this in that winter. Well, it's not winter actually, it was autumn. I know, this skin, it's made for Malaysia and made for Singapore. Now this other item, I was really surprised that I enjoyed it. The La Mer Moisturising Soft Cream. I have this little tub which I saved for the trip because I wanted to try to use it during that time, because I knew that my skin was going to need more hydration. So I brought this along and I used it pretty sparingly. I should have used a little bit more, but I only had this little tub and I loved it. Now there were 2 things that I was pretty surprised. Firstly, that my skin could absorb all the nutrients or whatever it had. It made my skin so supple and so good. The other thing that I was really surprised was the smell. Now La Mer was one of the items that I always hesitated to buy because this fragrance is, to me, a little bit too strong. Like, I'm not sure if the moisturizing soft cream is less, I don't know if this is the right word to use, pungent, but it's less, the rosy smell doesn't get into my nose so much that gives me a headache. So I could actually take this, the one that you have to like warm up on your skin and then pat it in. Now I find that smell, it lingers a little bit longer than what I would like, and it's quite strong. So I like this, and I was really contemplating on buying like the full size, but I told myself, since I bought another moisturizer from Charlotte Tilbury, I'm gonna wait it out because this is not cheap and I didn't want to keep it, you know, in my cupboard just because I wanted to buy it. I partially regret not buying it because it is really expensive in Singapore and really expensive in Malaysia. In the UK, because of the duty free and also it's slightly cheaper, I could save almost 100 Singapore dollars on the full size, which is like 60 ml. So maybe when my brother comes back from the UK to visit, I'll tell him to buy, but he will be pissed off because he'll be like, what? 200 pounds or 180 pounds for a moisturizer? Are you crazy? Yeah, so we'll see. The other thing that I was using quite a bit for my UK trip, and just before that I was actually traveling for work, were sheet masks. So any sheet mask was great, but I had these two with me. This is the Hyaluronic Acid Moisture Energy Biocellulose Mask, such a mouthful, from Herbaflore and then Kissui. This is from a Taiwan shop. Actually, any sheet mask, I'm not recommending these two particularly, but sheet masks in general, especially those that have a lot of serum in it, like really moisturizing one, I really recommend you guys to bring along a few pieces when you travel. In the plane, I was using it in the plane, like when all the lights were out, I just whipped it out. It was really hard to see because you're like figuring out where's the eyes and where's the nose and where's the mouth. You're like, but it's great, you know, when you're lying down on that in the airplane seat and you just lie back and just put it there for like 20 minutes or even fall asleep with it. My skin didn't like dry up while I was in the plane. It is a little bit difficult to maneuver, but it's worth it. So in the plane and then during the trip as well, I was using sheet mask, moisturizing ones, and then on the way back as well. Then I think my skin really appreciated my effort to moisturize my skin, because during the trip my brother and my husband were like suffering like dry patches, my dad was suffering like dry patches around the lips and all that, but I didn't. I got a bit like this is more like my skin is maybe a few blemishes here and there, but I think that's just from stress. But in terms of dry skin, I didn't get any. I didn't get any lip problems, I didn't get any face like cracks and all that. So I really believe having good moisturizers, good oils, and then sheet masks to top it off. You need it when you're traveling, especially now. I think December is coming, a lot of people are going on holiday. I really recommend you guys to like stock up on a few pieces. You don't have to bring like every day, like maybe I brought a sheet mask for enough for 2 weeks. So my trip was 2 weeks, but then the week before that I was traveling. So I had 3 weeks of sheet masks. I brought along with me one for every 2 days. So I don't know, I had like a pack or two with me, and I made sure, even though I was so tired and jet lagged, I just made sure, you know what, stuff it on my face. And yeah, it's great, I tell you, so worth the investment. One more item that I feel was a true skin saver for me. I personally don't like to use body lotion throughout the day. I think I need to start making this as a habit, because as I get older, my skin, I notice around my hands, my body, my legs, especially my legs, like here, I can see it's dry. Like you can see, you know, when you against the light, when you kind of like, you know, adjust your feet, then you can see, oh, it's scaly. So I am reaching the point whereby I do need to use a good moisturizer for my body, but I don't often do it because I don't like that sticky feeling. You know, in this weather, it's really hard to use something that is super hydrating and not leave that sticky feeling. And if you don't use something that's hydrating enough, then what's the point? But anyway, while I was traveling so much, I brought along with me the Rosken Skin Repair Dry Skin Cream. This is for dry to extra dry skin. I brought along one, and this is finished. I have another one here because I'm going to be traveling again. I know, it's crazy. So I'm going to bring another one along because when I'm traveling, I kind of neglect my body. Like, I'll protect the face, you know, like moisturizer, mask, everything. Then my elbows and my knees, and I'm like, I'm neglecting the body as well. So this time for my recent travels, I decided, okay, let's try it out and get used to it. So I really enjoyed this moisturizing cream, this Rosken one. I think it's been around for the longest time. It is thick and it is so I don't know, it plumps up my skin. I am obsessed with it right now. I have the bigger one from quite a while ago, so I am learning to use it right after the shower. Like when I come out, I'll just pop it on like my elbows, my knees, my shin, not all over my body yet because I'm not at that point where I can, you know, when I put on my clothes, I'm like, oh, it's so sticky and hot. So I'm trying to adjust how I use body lotion, just where I really truly need it, and I tell you, my skin just goes that's how dry my skin has become. You know, I am no longer in the mid-30s, I am in the late 30s. So I need to take care, right? Get into the makeup items. I've got two more, I would say like kind of like skincare items. This Agave lip mask from Bite Beauty. This was an absolute lip saver. It is sticky, like it's really, you know, like sticky, like almost like, you know, honey kind of sticky. And I've had this for a while, you know, I think I should be throwing it, but you know, I'll just use it. It doesn't smell funky, it doesn't taste funky, it's fine. But this item, I shared it with my brother because he had that, you know, windburn like up here, and I was telling him, I don't have any. This is like, to me, my first time I didn't get any windburn. Is that the right word? Windburn? Because when the wind was blowing so fast and hard, you know, like the top of your lips here would get really, really burned. So before that happened, I was protecting my lips so much, like I put it all over, and it was so sticky. Because it's thick and sticky, it's not like normal lip balm whereby, you know, when you're walking around and the wind blows, and because you're not talking and you're eating and you're, you know, moving around, that lip balm actually goes away. It doesn't last. But because this is so thick and sticky, it still left the protective layer around my lips throughout the day. I had to like put again after food or after I was drinking too much. But I knew that, you know, like your outer rim right here, you could feel that it still had some of this, and that absolutely protected my lips. So my brother obviously didn't use any lip balm, so I think after the third or fourth day in Scotland, he was like, May, do you have any lip balm? Because he was all cracked. He said when he smiled, it started to bleed. It was so bad. So I gave him this, and he used it, and it really helped. It heals as well. So I absolutely, you know, if you can get this, you can't get this locally here, sadly. Malaysia and Singapore, we can't get this locally. I don't know if there are any, you know, distributors for Bite Beauty, but it's sold in Sephora, the US. It is great. This final skincare item, I know some of you have asked me to review it, but I haven't done it because, I don't know, maybe I haven't used it enough, or I haven't gotten like fabulous results out of it that I want to recommend it. But I used it throughout my trip. This is the ReFa eye thing. Eye thingy, okay. And it's actually a smaller version of the one that I have. I have the bigger one as well, the bigger balls. And that contraption was too heavy for me to bring around with me. So I brought this, and I carried it while I was on the plane, and I carried it while we were on the road trip. And I absolutely love doing this, like just massaging my face, pressing along my eyes, especially on the plane. So I was like pressing, make sure that I didn't get any, you know, swollen eyes, press all the lymph nodes, and it was great. Such a great feeling, especially around here. So good. And I think that helped, you know, kept the swelling around my eyes down. And I don't know, you know, this movement here, I don't think it slimmed down my face. I'm pretty sure I'm chubbier since I came back from Scotland. I ate so much. My mom was cooking so much. I was eating rice and eating everything. It was great. But I don't know, this contraption, it was so soothing, and just, you know, when your face is tired from traveling, it felt so good to do, you know, things like that. Just press, roll, and because it's small, it was so handy for me to put in my handbag or put in my, you know, my backpack, which I'll show it to you shortly. Yeah, I love this. So if you guys are thinking about buying the ReFa, I don't know what, I'll put the name, I can't remember right now, these ReFa tools, and you're wondering, you know, should you get the big one or the small one? If you don't, you know, for me, I got the big one because I wanted it to use, you know, along my body as well, along my neck, especially when I do a lot of gym, my neck here hurts. So sometimes I'll just press it, which is I use it like a massage tool, not so much of a slimming face tool. That's how I've been using the contraptions. So This one, it was the one that I decided to bring along with me because it's light, it's small, and it is good enough just for my face. You can kind of use it for your neck, but it doesn't give that impact. But this part, especially when you're traveling here and here, it hurts, right? It hurts. You're like so tired with your eyes and jet lag and all. So this, even though you could use your fingers, but somehow this is just so relaxing and you could roll. Yeah, I recommend this if you are, if you want to invest on a one of these facial tools. I think this is a good one to invest in. Don't go for the big one yet until you are comfortable, because the big one, they are expensive, right? So this small one would kind of like, it's like a dipping your toes into these kind of facial tools. Yeah, I'll put the name below because I think it's just called a ReFa. Okay, makeup. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 items, and the first one I want to share with you is this highlight that I have been obsessed with. I have mentioned it in my favorites before, but this time I'm obsessed with it. This is the Too Faced Love Light Blinded by the Light highlighter. It is, oh gosh, it's so gross right now. I have been using it so much. I use it with the Real Techniques brush. I just brush it, and that is the highlight that I've got on my cheekbones today. It is awesome. Just a little bit. Let me just show you. See? Oh my goodness. And then you buff it out. This is a crazy highlight. You know, like I think I mentioned before, not a lot of people talk about it, but I think it gives such a beautiful glow on the cheekbones. Now you can go crazy with this. So if you don't really like this kind of like in your face highlight, I recommend you just take a more fluffy brush. This is pretty fluffy, but I think there are fluffier brushes, like really like a fan brush. Just use that instead, because this can give you quite strong highlight, because even though it's fluffy, it's still got a bit of tension to it. So if you want something that's light, take a fan brush and dust it on your cheekbones. This foundation, no joke, I have been using it for a month straight. This is the IT Cosmetics Your Skin But Better CC Cream. I am just about going to be finished. Used it for my entire holiday, even though I didn't use it every day, because there were a few days I was just like, oh, I'm not going to use any makeup. But when I remembered and I wanted a bit of like, freshen up my face, this was the one I was using. And then when I came back, I continued to use this because I kind of want to finish it as well. But this is great, it hydrates the skin. Like, I was all about the hydration. I was all about plumping up the skin even after the holiday. So yeah, this is the color. What am I using? I'm using light, and it's a great match for me right now. I use it with a beauty blender, but there were days that I was so lazy to like wet the beauty blender. I just buffed it with my fingers, and it smooths out the skin. It's beautiful. So this finish is luminous, it's glowy. If you are of oily skin, I think you will need to powder it down, because I noticed that like even though I was pretty dry, but I had like all the moisturizing ingredients, right? Like my oil, my La Mer, everything on my skin. I'll top off on this, and then the day that I forgot to powder, I noticed that like maybe after about 4 or 5 hours, I got pretty oily everywhere. So this is something that if you have oily skin, I absolutely recommend that you make sure you powder a little bit, especially those places, the T-zone and all. This is a new concealer for me. I need to stop buying concealers, okay? I have this thing about concealers. I feel like it brightens up the skin and it's so much easier to buy than foundation. Do you guys get that as well? Anyway, this is the Tarte Creaseless Concealer. It is pretty new. I haven't heard a lot of people talk about it, but I like it, especially if you are living in a country that has like cold weather. Under the eyes, it really doesn't crease. I heard that this is just the old formula, the one that was in the tube, and now they have packaged it into this case that has a doe foot applicator. I have used it quite a bit, and it's true, it doesn't crease, it doesn't crease under my eyes, but I did notice that it would like kind of collect where right under the eyelashes, those deeper lines. I did find that it did settle in those spots, but around the crow's feet right here, it smoothed out my skin. So it's kind of, I would say it's like a 50-50 creaseless. It doesn't crease here, which I always have a problem with. Outside here, this part where it's nearer to the cheekbones, this part when I put too much concealer, it kind of gets crepey there. It looks a bit like, it makes me look even older. But this particular one didn't crease there, but it did crease right under your eyelashes. You know, right here where the lines are a little bit thicker, it did settle into those. So even though they say it's a creaseless concealer, I did need to powder it a little bit just to set it so that it doesn't crease too much under my eyelashes. That's the spot that it creases. I like it because it didn't make me look old. Like, you know, some concealers make you look old. This concealer actually brightened up, and because it didn't crease throughout the day, yeah, I look really fresh. So I really recommend you guys to try this. I think you need to try this in store. It's not something that the colors, when I tested it out in the Sephora store, it didn't, I don't know, they had so many colors, but some of them were similar, and then when it jumped another number, it became a different tone. So yeah, I would recommend, if you're gonna try this, try it in store. Like, keep swatching it, because I think the one online, if you're gonna buy it online, the colors didn't really look like the ones on at the store in real life. So yeah, it's a little bit tricky to buy, but I like it. Two more items. This is an oldie but a goodie. This is my Fenty Beauty Flyliner. I've mentioned it many times, so I'm gonna let you know this is my favorite for the month, and I think this is gonna be like my yearly favorite. I should be doing one yearly favorite. In December, I have some items that I absolutely love. So if you've been following me for a long time, you probably know, like, she's gonna mention that. You'd probably be right. This MAC lipstick, I'm actually giving it an honorable mention for this video. Not so much of that, oh, this is amazing, I love it. I like it. I like it. I like the formula. It is the new lipstick from MAC. It's the Powder Kiss lipstick, and the color that I have is 314 Mull It Over. It's this beautiful nudie color, and the texture reminds me of the, you know, the Chanel Rouge Velour, Velvet Rouge Velour. Very, very similar texture. It's extremely smooth, and it's almost balmy, right? So if you don't like matte lipsticks, like you find matte lipsticks a bit drying, but you like one that is semi-matte, so this gives that kind of semi-matte look. Now I'm only testing out the nude color, but I tried the more darker, richer colors, which is like the reds, the bright orange, which is great. But I found those to settle in your, you know, in my lines. Like, I have a lot of lines on my lips. Because it's so balmy and it kind of moves a little bit, I found that the deeper colors, or the darker, more outstanding colors, it settled into the fine lines, which didn't look so nice, right? You know, when you have matte lipstick, it doesn't settle, it's just stuck on your lips. Because this can kind of move around, it still looks matte, but it feels, you know, like powder, balmy powder. This, when it's more of the nude color, it kind of matches my lip color, it doesn't look so obvious. That when it settles into the line, you can like put your lips together like this, and it meshes the lipstick again, and it looks great. But when it comes to the darker colors, the bright reds, the bright oranges, I found that it settled into the lip lines a little bit, so it didn't look that pretty. But this color, I like it. You can't go wrong with the nude color, and I do like the formula, because sometimes matte lipsticks just make your lips look a bit not so nice, and it looks drying. So, but you still want that kind of matte look. It's a pretty good try. Before I share my luxury favorites, I got 3 more items. This pair of shoes, I've mentioned it again and again and again, but this pair of Ecco shoes were the only pair that I was wearing, except for sport shoes, that I wore for hiking. But these were the pairs that I walked throughout the UK with these. These were so comfortable. I love them so much. When I went to the Chester Oaks outlet, I wanted to get another pair exactly the same, maybe black, not probably exactly the same, but they didn't have anymore. I was feeling a bit like, oh my gosh, I gotta protect them, because I don't know, I think they're still on sale, you know, it's not something that you can't find anymore, but I absolutely love these shoes. The leather right now is so soft, and it feels so comfortable to walk with. I don't know, it's like walking on cushions. Plus I have my new insoles inside, which are so comfy. It makes for walking in these shoes just like a dream. So if you guys are looking for comfortable walking shoes, not branded, or I don't know, what do we call it? Do you call it Ecco branded? Yeah, it's branded, but is it like really expensive? No, it wasn't really expensive. I paid maybe below 200 Singapore dollars for them. They are definitely on the pricier side, but the amount that I've used them for, the amount of trips that I worn them with, oh my goodness, absolutely worth it. This I have to show. This is the Universal Traveler thermal wear for my local friends out there. My people who live in Singapore and Malaysia. You need this in your life when you go for long holidays to places which is cold. I will link the exact ones. I don't know what they're called, but basically they are thermal wear. The top, which is long sleeve, and then the pants, right? They feel like just any kind of sweatpants, polyester, but they kept me so warm. If I'm not mistaken, this set could go up to -15. That is how great they were. So I was wearing jeans. I had this underneath, top, like just a normal top like that, and one of my winter jackets, the black winter jacket that dirtied my Chanel Gabrielle bag. Yeah, that's the one. So I had that, but my brother and all, they had like one sweater, then another long sleeve inside, and they had this. So this actually kept me so warm. Not, I wouldn't say like hot warm, but I could feel like outside was cold, but my body felt like this was protecting it. This is amazing. So expensive. Okay, I didn't know thermal wear is so expensive because I bought thermal wear from Uniqlo, the ultra warm or uber warm or whatever, but maybe because I am so afraid of cold that the Uniqlo versions just didn't work for me. I felt like I was still cold. So I had this and it kept me warm. I love it. So you guys, if you're going to a country that is, you know, it's got wind and you're not a person that likes cold. I'm not a person that likes cold. It wasn't cheap. It was like 300 ringgit for a set, and I had to buy one for my husband as well. So it was like, oh, we're just going to Scotland. But so worth the investment. Finally, my two favorite luxury items. You should have guessed it. It is my Bosphora backpack. I always talk about this every time I come back from a trip, but every time I come back from a trip and I start to use it, I'm like, oh, I love it, I love it. I don't know why I don't use it more often. It is such a functional bag. Pockets here, 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 and then, you know, the only kind of inconvenient thing is the strap. But now, because I've used it a few times, I'm not so like you know, I'm not doing like this, like, to avoid getting it like all, you know, worn out here. Now I'm just like tied up. You know, even if it gets worn out, you know, the strap gets worn out, you can just change it, right? You don't even have to use this particular one from LV. Just change it to any other strap. It's great. Just pull it, tie it, and then like that. As long as this is pretty secure, I don't actually buckle up the bag entirely. I'll just pull it down like that. It's good enough, but of course when I'm in a crowded spot or you know, I'll be moving and I won't be taking things out from my bag, I will secure it properly. But if I'm just like, you know, tying up, I'm just, you know, moving around and I need to open my bag again, I will make sure that this is tied up pretty well, and I will just close the flap. It's fine, trust me, it's fine. So I do hope LV brings this back, or brings some version of this back, because this is such an iconic bag. It's so functional, it's got so much space inside. I don't know why did they decide to discontinue it, but yeah, I love it. And finally, I have to mention this. It will not be right if I don't mention this. My Celine Box bag. This baby has been just a dream to use. I love the space in this bag. I have it stuffed right now. I've got a few things, oh, not stuffed, but I've got a few things that I'm using. This is going to be my bag for work next week. It is amazing, amazing, amazing. The smell, oh, it's because it's still new. It's so functional. This bag is simply classic, simply amazing, simply, oh, just everything. Like, if you want an understated bag, this is amazing. I love it. I love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. So that wraps up this round's current favorites. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I think it's gonna be a long one as well because I'm so chatty. I think I haven't sat down to do a, you know, like a video for a long time. I mean, other than my luxury haul and all, I was like resisting to talk more because yeah, I've been traveling, right? And I'm traveling and working also. This is like my chance to just yip in front of the camera and talk to you guys. If you have any questions, you know, about these current favorites, or you know, anything at all, just leave it in the comments down below. I'll definitely get back to you. Otherwise, you guys take care, and I will see you in my next video.